Shalom, and welcome to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. This is a recording of a Shabbat sermon by JTS Rabbinical student Claire Davidson Bruder.
I'm glad to hear that this place likes to be a teaching hospital, because one thing JTS has not yet taught me is how to offer a vort while sitting down. So I hope you'll excuse me if I don't make appropriate eye contact with you. I don't really know what to do with my face. One of the wonderful things about being a rabbinical student is being in a building surrounded all the time by other rabbinical students. And every time you are going somewhere new to deliver words of Torah, inevitably, one of your classmates is also going somewhere new to deliver words of Torah. These recent parshiot are not always so popular for the givers of Divrei Torah. It's a lot of rules and a lot of curses and blessings, which are things that don't always hit home with us in the modern day. This parsha, however, Parshat Ki Tavo, is one of my favorites and has a lot of gems, as you will hear from me over the next 25 hours. One of those gems is a pasuk which reads, "And you shall enjoy, together with the family of the Levite and the stranger in your midst, all the bounty that your God has bestowed upon you and your household." When I read these words, I was reminded of a text that we studied last year in my Talmud class. This text, which can be found in Tractate Brachot, talks about a sage named Ben Zoma. And it reads, "Ben Zoma used to say, 'How much effort did Adam Harishon, the first man, exert before he found bread to eat? He plowed, he sowed, he reaped, he sheaved, he threshed, he winnowed, he separated the grain from the chaff,'" could not tell you what that is, "he ground the grain into flour, he sifted, he kneaded, and baked, and only thereafter he ate. And I, Ben Zoma, on the other hand, wake up and find bread waiting for me." And he continues this line of inquiry. How much labor did Adam Harishon have to labor before he had clothing to wear? He sheared, he laundered, he combed, he spun, he wove, and only afterwards did he have clothing to wear. And I, on the other hand, wake up and find all of these things to have been done for me. When I first read this text, I must admit I had a little bit of an uncharitable reaction. I felt like Ben Zoma was ostentatiously displaying his social status. He was bragging about how others, whether that be his wife or servants, do so much of the daily mundane work for him. What he experienced wasn't the case for everyone in his time, and remains not always the case for everyone in ours. But, strongly encouraged by my professor, I reread the text through a lens of Dan Lachaf Zechut, assuming good intention rather than bad. And what I came away with was a very different takeaway. How wonderful it is that Ben Zoma holds such a deep appreciation for the labors of others, especially those who complete work that often goes unrecognized in our society. And today, even those who are not hugely wealthy benefit from the division of labor that we have in the modern world. It's so easy to go to a store and buy a loaf of bread. I live in Manhattan. When I wake up, if I want a bagel with an egg and cheese on it, as I often do, in a 5-minute round trip from my own bed, I can acquire a sandwich. And so this week, I want to invite all of us into the type of gratitude that Ben Zoma is able to find in the world. We are instructed in this week's Parsha to enjoy the bounty that God has bestowed upon all of us. And I am a really firm believer that gratitude cultivates joy. One of the most life-changing things I've ever done is that during really the thick of the pandemic, when I was living alone, when I was sad a lot of the time, when I missed my friends and my shul and my normal life, I started each night before bed to write down 3 things from the day that I was grateful for. A very, very short journaling practice. And doing so allowed me to center the goodness in my life and to turn that gratitude, turn that knowledge of how wonderful my life can be into celebrating the everyday in my life. When you look around your dinner table tonight, what will you see? Will you see people you love? Will you see delicious food, maybe that someone else even cooked for you? Will you feel the warmth, or maybe in California, the air conditioning of your home? How this Shabbat can we find joy and gratitude in things that we would normally take for granted? After all, this week's Parsha especially encourages us to do so.
You've been listening to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. If you enjoy these podcasts, we invite you to write a review on the Apple Podcast site or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Temple Beth Am Los Angeles, go to tbala.org.